What's going on, guys? So first of all, you see these lights behind me? I got another one right here. I tell you, this channel, the production on this channel, I mean, it's gone from like okay to I think like some of the best quality production on any video on all of YouTube. So make sure you like and subscribe. So today I'm going to show you how to create a custom YouTube block in your Sanity CMS. Sanity is a headless CMS, which means it's a backend only content management system. So you put your data on the backend and it's not tied to a specific front end. I have a starter project where we connected Sanity and Vue, and that's what I'll be working off of in this video. Except in this video we're going to be doing Vue 2 instead of Vue 3. So Sanity has an open source front end called Studio, and that's what you're seeing here. And it's extremely flexible with how you create fields and create different ways to input and edit data. One of the most common ways is a rich text editor called a block or block content. And that's what this is. So you have your different, heading tags, H1, H2, H3, bold or italic for the text, bulleted list, link, you can add an image. You can also make this bigger. But the awesome thing is we can add other things to this so that the user can add other things to the page or this block of content on the page. So we'll add the capability for them to easily add a YouTube link, and we'll show a preview of the video here, and we will render the video on the front end. So this is the Vue project, which is our main project here, which we started up in the other video. And then inside of that Vue project, we have Studio, and this is the Sanity Studio, which we're seeing on the front end. So you change directory out of your Vue project into the Studio, and then you can run Sanity Start. And then that'll be on localhost 3333. So in our Studio project here, in the schemas, see this post here. This is how we have the title, the slug, an author, which is a reference to it's a type reference to the type of author, which relates it to this author, who also has a name, an image, bio, etc. So we want to create a YouTube schema so that we can reference the YouTube schema and add that wherever we want to use it. So in the schemas folder, I will add a file called youtube.js. And then we'll create a custom object for our data schema. So we're going to export default. And we'll give it a name of YouTube. That's how we can reference it in the code. We'll do a type of object. And then the title. So this is what they'll see in the CMS. We'll say YouTube embed. And then the fields that is going to have, we'll do an array. And that array, and that's going to be an array of fields, which are objects. And we'll only have one. And the name of that field will be a URL. And the type of field is URL. Sandy has a type of field that is URL, and it's basically a text field with some validation built in to make sure it's a URL. And then the title for that one field, we'll say YouTube video URL. And we'll save that. And so we can use this object and its fields anywhere. And we can add it to any other schema that we want to use it in. So now this schema.js here, this is like our main schema. So you import any other schemas. You have the create schema, which is named your default schema. And then we concatenate all of our schemas into our one schema. So we'll import our YouTube schema from our YouTube file there. And then where we're concatenating the other schemas, we will also include the YouTube schema. And now wherever we want to use that schema, we'll just do type YouTube because we gave it the name YouTube there. So I'll save that. So this just refreshed here because I saved. So this block content here, that is this block content here. So we named it block content. It's a type of array, and it's an array of all these objects. And all these objects, which some of them have array values, are all the different options in this block content. So now we want to add a YouTube option. So if we go to, so we have type here, you can add additional types. And so we're going to add another object, and the type is YouTube. So if we save that, we let that refresh, and now we see this plus sign here. So we see YouTube embed, you click that, and we see the YouTube video URL. If I grab a YouTube video, do the video where we started these projects, the View and Sandy project. Paste that in here. So this is the default preview, I'm using quotes here, for this YouTube object that we're adding. But Studio is actually made with React. Remember I said it was open source. So we can actually make a React component for the preview and show the YouTube video right inside the Studio. And in fact, there's already a pre-built component called React YouTube and a package called Get YouTube ID. And with that, we can just pass in a URL, and we don't have to write a regular expression to make sure that we're programmatically finding the exact right ID of the video. And this package will also render the embedded version of the video. So we'll install both of those packages in our Studio project. So I'll shut down this server for now. So this React YouTube package was recently updated to version 10, and it actually stopped working for me right as I was preparing for this tutorial. So what I had to do is go back to the previous version, which was React YouTube version 9.03. So we'll install that one. So for the React YouTube package, we'll do the @9.03 and then that Get YouTube ID package. 100 million vulnerabilities, we'll clear that. And then I'll run Sandy start to get that development server running again. And now in our YouTube schema, we will import those along with React. Import Get YouTube ID from that Get YouTube ID package. And we will import the YouTube component from React YouTube. Now we'll just create this preview component, and actually I'll just show you the props real quick. So we'll put those in a pre tag. We'll do JSON.stringify, pass in the props, and then a 2 for better formatting so it's easier to read, some better spacing. And now below these fields here in our schema, we'll do preview, and then we'll select the URL, which is what we'll be grabbing, like whatever they put in this URL field. And the component that we'll use for the preview is this preview component that we just made. So I'll save that. Give this a refresh with Command R. Preview select must be an object. I thought it was. So this is another object, which is URL, and this is where we're grabbing the URL. We'll try that again. And that does not look right. I need to return, I need to put this in parentheses. So we have to return it like that. I have not wrote React in a while. And actually this is supposed to be inside of this preview object here. So now the preview is showing the JSON. We see it's an object, and then there's the value, which is an object, and that has the URL. So that's what we'll want to target. So here we can do object destructuring, and we'll grab the value, and then do some more object destructuring, grab the URL from the value, and then we'll use that get YouTube ID, and we'll send that URL in, which will give us back the ID. So we'll save that to ID. And lastly, we will return this YouTube component, passing in video ID, and giving it that ID. So if we save that, we see the YouTube preview. So you can create these custom blocks, which is really awesome. But in order to render that on the front end, you have to add a serializer to the block component. A serializer is basically a function that renders block content. And we'll install a package that helps with rendering YouTube videos in Vue this time, because before it was in our Sanity project. And unfortunately, there are two different ways to implement this based on if you're running Vue 2 or Vue 3. So for rendering the YouTube video on the front end, we're going to use the Vue YouTube package, and we'll also use that get YouTube ID package. So we'll go to the Vue project, do npm install Vue YouTube, and get YouTube ID. Clear that. So then in the main.js, where we mount our Vue app, we'll import and use the Vue YouTube package. So import Vue YouTube. Save that. And then in our components folder, we'll create a file called youtube.vue. This will be our YouTube component. So we'll do a template, YouTube. It looks for the video ID. And we'll be sending in the video ID, which we'll grab down below. So we'll import the get ID from that get YouTube ID package. And we'll export default. Get our data, which returns an object. We'll have a property of video ID, and we'll use that get ID and pass in the URL, which we'll be getting as a prop. We'll do our props here. URL. Type is string, and we'll say default is an empty string. So we're getting the URL as a prop. We're sending that into get ID and saving it to video ID, and then we're passing it into that YouTube component, which we are getting from here, from that package. And then in our single post, where we'll want to use that YouTube component, which I'll have to save, by the way. We'll import that YouTube component from our YouTube. And so actually this package is for Vue 3. This is going off the project that we set up in a previous video. So I'm gonna have to uninstall this and go back a version so that it's compatible with Vue 2. If you go to the npm says this version is a complete rewrite for Vue 3. For Vue 2, see versions before 1.00. So if you go to versions, and we see the one before version 1, this one was used the most, so I went with this one. So we'll have to uninstall. Actually, I'll just highlight it here. So in our Vue project, do npm uninstall. And then we'll do npm install. Paste that back in, and we'll do at 0.1.0. Start that development server up again. And so this package is still called the same here, but now we'll be importing block content. So here we'll call it block content. And here we'll call it block content. And now for this YouTube, remember we had to add it to a serializer, which is basically a function that renders a custom block. So in our data here, we'll have serializers, which is an object, types, which is an object, YouTube, and then we'll use that YouTube component. Which is what we're using there. And then in the block content, we'll do serializers. Actually, we wanna and we'll pass in the serializers. So if we save that, go to our front end here, click into our awesome blog, and there we go. So that is how you add a custom YouTube block into Sanity and then render that on the front end with Vue 2. I'll make some more videos where we set up Sanity a little more. We'll have like a media tab here so that they don't have to add photos only right in place and access them right in place. So you can just go to a media tab. They can upload assets and view their images as well and things like that. So keep an eye out. Feel free to like and subscribe, drop a comment and say what's up, and thank you very much for watching. I will catch you in the next one.